We're taking a break right now in the Sean Great case. As soon as we have a live feed, we'll make sure to go back to it. But right now we want to switch gears because joining me via Skype is a very familiar face for everybody here on Law and Crime. It's Aaron Keller, everybody. Aaron Keller. Good to see you, Aaron.
Yeah, Jesse, hey, it's great to be working from home today. I believe in hockey this is called an assist, where I come on to help you score a goal.
Listen, Aaron, I'm not one to praise you, but I will praise you here because you wrote a terrific article about the Tex McIver case and the verdict, and how you said the verdict, again, for anybody just joining us, we recovered the Tex McIver case, a prominent attorney who was on trial for shooting and killing his wife, Diane McIver. He's faced 5 different counts, and it included malice murder, felony murder, aggravated assault, possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony, and a witness tampering charge. The jury came back after being deadlocked. They found him guilty across the board except for the malice murder charge. So people are wondering, I don't understand. How could he be found not guilty of malice murder or intentional murder, but how could he be found guilty of felony murder? And in your opinion, this makes absolutely no sense.
Well, it comes dangerously close to making absolutely zero sense. The question of degree is so minimal here. So as you pointed out, Jesse, look, we have to look at this from a legal perspective. What does the law anticipate? What does the law capture? What is the letter of the law? Okay, malice murder, the top charge of which Tex McIver was acquitted, requires malice aforethought. In other words, it's intent is what it boils down to. The defendant, to be convicted under that law, has to intend that the victim die. The defendant wanted the victim dead. That's the top charge, and we know from yesterday the jury acquitted Tex McIver on that charge. So how do we get to this felony murder situation? Well, my piece lays out that in most states, felony murder is a charge that attaches to a very different sort of felony than just the shooting itself. The textbook example we've been talking about all the time on the Law and Crime Network is a bank robbery. You bring a gun to a bank robbery, somebody sneezes, it startles the robber, the gun goes off, somebody dies. Okay, well, the robber didn't intend to kill someone. The robber intended to rob the bank. Well, they can still get the robber on felony murder because the intent to commit the underlying robbery then transfers into the murder because someone died in the commission of that underlying felony.
Right.
Well, most states limit the use of the felony murder rule to specific felonies like robbery, like kidnapping, like rape, and I talk about that a little bit. So as to the Tex McIver situation...
So Aaron, just to step back, so you're saying most states say, you know what, if we're going to have this felony murder rule, the felonies are not usually something that would lead directly to the killing, to the death of somebody else. So yeah, obviously it can happen, but it's not something like aggravated assault here, where if you hit someone hard enough and you're causing injury to them, it could result in the death.
Yeah, exactly. It's a separate occurrence, a separate crime transaction or occurrence. Okay, in New York, the statute limits this, and if you take a look at New York's, it'll make it more clear. But anyway, so let's talk about the Tex McIver situation. Yeah. So first of all, Georgia doesn't limit its felony murder rule the way many, or my understanding, most states do. It's wide open. It can attach to any felony, doesn't matter what it is. In this case, it attached basically to the same narrow factual circumstance. And that's what makes Georgia law a little bit interesting or unique or problematic in some opinions. But look, we have to look at what the jurors actually convicted Tex McIver of doing, and this is why it makes zero sense. This is what the jurors found. The jurors found Tex McIver guilty of an underlying aggravated assault. That's the underlying felony. There's 2 parts of that. There's assault, and then there's aggravated. An assault under Georgia law is a violent injury, okay? Putting someone in a position to fear a violent injury or think that a violent injury is very imminent to occur. So violent injury is the assault. Why is it aggravated? Well, there's several reasons in the statute, but 2 apply here. One is that it was a weapon, and 2, that it was in a car. Yeah. So that makes it aggravated. So the key here is violent injury. Now, to get to felony murder, legally, the jurors had to find that Tex McIver intended the underlying felony and that the underlying felony happened to result in a death. Now, in other words,
Aaron, it's so. From our perspective, because we were watching this, it was really frustrating. In one sense, we were focused so much on the murder and whether or not it was involuntary manslaughter and what would happen there. And I think we were all surprised about how it actually happened with the felony murder. So I think it's interesting to follow nonetheless. But Aaron, actually, stand by 1 second. I want to let our viewers know something that we are covering the McIver case, but we're also covering the Sean Great case here. And I want to make sure that we remember. So we're on a break right now in the Sean Great case. We are carefully monitoring that. We're going to watch it. Aaron and I are going to talk more about the Sean Great case as well as McIver. But what I want to do right now, in case you missed it, earlier in the day, right before we went on break, there was discussion from this BCI agent about what he found in this house of horrors. And I have to play this for you because anybody who's just coming to this case, you have to listen to these details about what these investigators found and put yourself in their position and walk into this house. It's a grisly sight. Take a look.